A Canadian Christian musician turned soft pop rocker. We've got two famous musicians slash actors and a series of nutty numbers all coming up on this week's Sunday Summary Series. Hello everyone, Daryl the Northern Vinyl Guy coming at you with another video here in my Sunday Summary Series, a series in which I take a look at least one Canadian musician, one soundtrack that I've been listening to out of my collection, one compilation album, and then just a series of other records that I have been listening to that I think are good and I'd like to showcase in my weekly video. So if you are new to the channel, I would like to encourage you to subscribe. If you are interested, just leave me a thumbs up, leave some comments down in the section below, click that bell. And, I'd like to have you on board, as I always do. And if you are a current subscriber, I just like to continue thanking you all for your support in my channel. So without further ado, let's check out some of the stuff that I've been listening to this week. I have about 5 or 6 albums that I'd like to showcase here, so let's get started. All right, with my Canadian listen for this week, it's actually a twofer here. So the lead singer of this band went on to be a solo artist later on. He's no longer, to my understanding, I don't think he's releasing any music anymore. But that is the musician out of Ontario. His name is Paul Jans. And I did listen to his Renegade Romantic. I have shown this in some previous videos before. When I was growing up, my dad used to listen to this. Now, Paul Jans, when he first became a musician, him and his brothers were part of a Christian band in Canada called Deliverance, and I have about 3 or 4 of their albums. This is the Tightrope one. I believe this is the last one that they recorded and released in 1979. There was a minor hit off of this particular album called Leaving LA. If you want to kind of get to know the style of this, I would say that they're very Bee Gees-esque with a little bit of soft rock and pop. And so after the band kind of folded, a lot of the musicians in that band, the brothers and whatnot, they kind of went their separate ways. Paul Jans, of course, as I mentioned on this one, went on to release 3 or 4 albums. This particular one, Renegade Romantic, Every Little Tear, the song Stand, Rocket to My Heart, Stuck on You. These are all hit songs. I believe the big single on this one was Stand, though. But on a previous album, he did a song called Believe in Me, which was popular in the 1980s. So if you haven't checked out Paul Jans or the band Deliverance, if you're into that really soft rock, as I mentioned, the Tightrope album is not really Christian-ish music. Their previous 2 to 3 albums definitely were. But if you like like I said, I wouldn't say disco, but Bee Gee-ish sound with the high vocals and stuff, give these ones a check. Okay? Take a look. And like I said, Leaving LA, Stand, those are the big hits off those 2 albums. Now, in my intro, I had mentioned that there were 2 1970s, 80s-ish actor/musicians. This is coming up on my soundtrack, and recently I decided to, I've had this album for a little while, but I decided to take another listen to the Two of a Kind album, and this stars, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. This one has the hit single Twist of Fate. On this past week's episode of Northern Revolutions, last Wednesday, we had talked about albums that you either purchase for one song or one-hit wonders or whatever that might be. This would be one of those albums that I purchased for just the single that was from it, Twist of Fate. But the rest of this album is actually quite, it's quite catchy, quite good, I think. The second song, Take a Chance, which is a duet, Newton-John and Travolta, pretty decent. Patty Austin does It's Gonna Be Special. The only song that I wasn't a fan of side one is a song called Catch 22 by Steve Kipner. Super cheesy 1980s song. Didn't really like it. But side two has some Boz Scaggs with The Perfect One, Ask the Lonely, of course, by Journey, and then Chicago and David Foster finish off the side with Prima Donna and Night Music. So you got some big names on the Two of a Kind soundtrack. I've never seen this movie. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are if you've watched Two of a Kind. Did you like it? Is it not for you? And of course, sadly, we lost Olivia Newton-John a few years ago. But, highly acclaimed actress from Australia. Fantastic album with the exception of a couple songs. So check that one out if you haven't done so. All right, my compilation. And, I always talk about my dad in these videos. My dad was my influence. As a kid, I remember him having this particular one, and this is a K-Tel record as advertised on television. So you could buy this off the TV back in the day. I forget what year this is from, 1978, so the year before I was born. But this one is called the Nutty Numbers compilation. Just some really quirky songs. We've got, Rick Dees and Disco Duck, Jim Stafford, Spiders and Snakes, Purple People Eater, Sheb Woolley, Mr. Custer by Larry Verne, Pat Boone, Speedy Gonzales. Side two, you got Ramalama Ding Dong by the Edsels. You've got some, what else do we have here? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by the Squirrels, Humphrey the Camel, Jack and Misty, and a lot more. There are 24 songs all crammed in on this one. If you are not familiar with K-Tel, they were a company that was out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and what they did was they had a lot of one-hit wonders or just popular songs that were on the radio at this time, but because they wanted to try to cram a lot of songs onto one, these were like radio short edited versions. So yeah, I mean, if you were only looking for those one-hit wonders and you didn't want to buy the full album, this would have been the perfect way to go. So once again, some nutty numbers, really cool stuff. I think this is a hilarious album, enjoyable. If you haven't got a chance to check this one out, do so. All right, moving to 1989. And a one-hit wonder from, I believe they're from the UK, and that was the duo known as Waterfront, and this is their 1989 self-titled album, known for the song Cry. Now, I wouldn't say that this is like New Kids on the Block-esque or anything like that. Definitely a lot of soft rock, mellow rock on here. If you haven't heard Cry, or you're not sure if you know it, you'll probably know it from the radio if you were listening to it in the late 80s, early 90s. But side one is fantastic. The song Tightrope is pretty cool. Platinum Halo, Nature of Love, Move On. My copy, or at least the vinyl itself, I mean, it's pretty boring backside, but it's a little beat up. You can see right there, it was a little water damaged, but I had bought this used for, a few bucks. The vinyl plays wonderfully, so I've chosen to keep this one in my collection. But if you haven't heard of Waterfront, check them out. Not too bad. One-hit wonders, 1989. Go for it. Give it a listen. All right, and my last two albums are some big guns here. Stadium rock type bands. Definitely can fill a crowd, fill a stadium. And this one here could technically, I guess, be a compilation. This is a greatest hits album. And this is the Red Greatest Hits from Journey. This has all the big hits, especially in the Steve Perry days of the band. Only the Young from the Vision Quest soundtrack. Don't Stop Believin', Faithfully, Who's Crying Now, Separate Ways, Open Arms, Send Her My Love, When You Love a Woman. All of those tracks, they're all on here, all in one. There is a blue greatest hits album. I don't own that one. One day, hopefully, I will get to that. They're both great. If you haven't checked it out, if you haven't heard of Journey, make sure you do so. Definitely arena rock right there. And last but not least, one of my favorite, well, probably my favorite band from Ireland, other than maybe the Cranberries. I couldn't go this week without listening to the Joshua Tree. Huge U2 fan. It's unfortunate I don't have any of their 90s stuff. I don't have Octane Baby or any of their other albums from the 90s, but I definitely have the Joshua Tree. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. With or Without You, Where the Streets Have No Names, Bullet, the Blue Sky, all on here. Great album from start to finish. There's the logo on the back. I didn't want to take these ones out just because it is a double one. This is a repress 180 gram vinyl. But there you go. That's what I've been listening to this week. Some arena rock, some I guess you would almost call it semi-Christian rock. We've got boy band, duo, and more on this week's episode. So yeah, I'm just curious to know what your thoughts are. Please leave some comments down below about have you seen any of these albums? Do you listen to U2 or Journey? Do you listen to some of these other bands that I've had? Have you ever heard of them? If you have, awesome. I love listening and seeing your comments in the section below. I hope that you do subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for your support. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.